Testing 1 2 3. Hi, good evening everybody. Sorry, give me a moment. Okay, good evening everyone. Alright, so yes, of course my brother, we definitely can do AUD USD later on. Alright, so yes, welcome everybody to another IC Markets pre-markets live analysis. Alright, and also as usual, this is the disclaimer. Remember that everything in this webinar is educational in nature and nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice. Alright, so please remember to do your own due diligence before you guys trade. Alright, and the next thing is of course our agenda for today. We will be going through high impact news events for the week ahead and also key technical setups to watch out for. Alright, so if you guys have any pairs that you guys want me to go through with you, feel free to type it in the live chat down below and I shall go through it with you guys later on. Okay, so I'm your host for today. My name is Woon. Alright, and I'll be going through firstly the key news events for the week ahead. Okay, so as you can see for right here, Monday, we have the CAD CPI news. Alright, so this will definitely affect pairs such as USD CAD, right, as well as AUD CAD, etc. Okay, then on Tuesday, we have GBP claimant count change and also the Governor Bailey speaking. Alright, so this will also affect pairs such as GBP USD, alright, and any other GBP pairs. Okay, then for Wednesday, right, we have the GBP CPI, and then of course all the other pairs are affected by the WEF annual meetings. Okay, and then lastly we have the USD President Trump speaking. Alright, so on that day itself, right, at UTC +0, right, on 9:30 p.m, right, we will definitely see a lot of volatility for USD pairs. Okay, not only USD pairs but also the direction for stocks as well as probably crypto. Okay, then lastly, not lastly, but the next day on Thursday we have the AUD employment change as well as the unemployment rate. Okay, so this will definitely affect pairs such as AUD, USD, etc. Okay, and afterwards we have the USD core PCE price index, but not to worry, this core PCE price index news doesn't really affect pairs, the USD pairs that much. Alright, but we have the final GDP at the same time. Okay, so you might want to be a little bit more careful with the USD trades that you guys are taking. Okay, and then lastly, Friday, right, we have a lot of news on that day itself. Okay, in the morning we have NZD CPI. Alright, tentatively we have the JPY news. Alright, such as policy rate, monetary policy statement, etc. Okay, and afterwards we have GBP retail sales, Euro flash manufacturing PMI, GBP flash manufacturing PMI, USD flash manufacturing PMI. Okay, so Friday will be pretty volatile, I would say. So please be careful for this coming week ahead. Alright, because at the start of the year, alright, especially for let's say January, February, and March, it will be a little bit rocky for FX pairs, right? If you guys realize. Okay, so now without further ado, let's head back to the charts to do the analysis. Okay, so let's start off with DXY. Okay, and of course we will do it on the daily time frame. Okay, so if you can see right here, DXY, let me just, okay, so if you can see right here, if we turn on the Ichimoku cloud indicator, we can definitely see that DXY is right now going above the Ichimoku cloud. Alright, however, it is slowing down its bullish momentum, and we could possibly see slight bearish momentum in the upcoming weeks ahead. Alright, but of course, let's mark out our key levels first. Okay, so okay, let's start off with this. Firstly, right, we will mark this out as our first support, and the reason why we chose this as our first support is because we have multiple touches at this area over here, making it a overlap support area. Okay, firstly it was a support breakthrough and tested as a resistance, right? And then afterwards it acted as a resistance, broke through, and is now acting as a support over here. Okay, so this is definitely an area to look out for, and this shall be our first support. Okay, then the next thing is of course our second support, right? Our second support will be placed at this area over here, which is also a overlap support level. Alright, because of the amount of times that price has touched this area, right? First, this is the first touch, second touch, third touch, and fourth. Alright, so these are all pretty key levels that we shall be watching out for. Alright, and let's see. For now, we won't be able to mark out any feeble retracement level from this low to this high, because the high of hasn't been closed yet. Alright, wait, let me see. Yeah, okay, so we are expecting price to continue to create small bullish movements, right, and we shall see from there. Alright, then the next thing is of course our first resistance level. Okay, so our first resistance level will be right over here. Okay, second resistance level will be pretty high, so I shall not mark it out for now. Alright, so let me see. Yeah, okay, so we are expecting for price to definitely continue its bullish momentum, at least up to this level over here. Okay, this is what we are looking at. Alright, let me see. I think there is a projection. Yeah, if I mark out my areas over here, there is a 100% feeble projection at our first resistance area over here. Okay, so this is what we are looking for price to go all the way up to this first resistance level over here. Alright, yes, so let me just mark this out. Okay, so this is the basis of DXY. Alright, then the next thing is AUD USD. Alright, so let's move on to AUD USD. Alright, if you can see right here, okay, this is the first level that we are actually looking at for our first support. Alright, based on the number of times that price has tapped into this level. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay, then the next thing is of course our second support area, which is at this level over here. This is a common level that price has been tapping as well. Alright, then of course for our resistance, we shall mark it up at this swing high resistance level. Alright, let me scroll to the left. Let me see. Okay, then we can also mark this out as our second resistance over here. Alright. Okay, so now that we have gotten all of this in place, let's take a look at where price might be heading. Okay, so there is a possibility that price might continue to consolidate right over here before finding a breakthrough towards this upside. Okay, because if you turn on the Ichimoku cloud over here, you can definitely see that price is still above the Ichimoku cloud, and we can possibly see continuous bullish momentum. Alright, but of course if you mark out this area over here, right, there is a high possibility, okay, there is a high possibility that price might continue to consolidate within this area over here before it finds a breakout. Okay, so it might do something like this, right? This is what I am looking at. Alright, it might do something like this, find a breakthrough, and then go all the way up, at least towards the first resistance area. Okay, so for now price is still hovering above this first support level, right? If price continues to close above this first support area, then you can continue to enter buys. Okay, that's if price continues to close above. Okay, so in 1 hour's time, it is the Asian markets open. Alright, but of course I wouldn't suggest to enter right when the market opens. Okay, I would suggest to enter during maybe London session or right before London session. Okay, yeah, so let's say you enter off here, stop loss placed below at this level. Alright, something like this. Okay, give price a little bit of space to breathe. Alright, and then you can get at least a 1:2 risk to reward ratio. Alright, pretty simple, nothing too fancy about AUD USD. No Fibo retracement level as of right now, based off price action. Okay, so let's move on with the rest of the majors. Okay, so yes, let me see. Okay, so for now euro dollar is not doing too well, right? Firstly, let's mark out our first resistance, which is this pullback resistance level over here. Alright, price has already broken past this crucial support level, so it is now a pullback resistance. Alright, then the next thing is of course our first support level, which is right about here. Alright, then the next thing is of course, let me see. Yeah, price is not looking too good. The only option is for us to continue to look for sells, right? If the market closes below this area over here, you can take sells. Okay, then the next thing is, yes, this is definitely our other pullback resistance level. Alright, second resistance level, and then let me see. Okay, we can possibly look for a reversal trade, but I would say it's a little bit risky based off this level over here, right? Because if you look at the market trend, it is definitely bullish, right? You turn on the Ichimoku cloud, price is below the Ichimoku cloud already. Alright, so I would suggest to continue to look for sales, right, at least towards this level, this 161.8% Fibo extension level over here. Alright, based off this inverse Nike tick. Okay, you can see over here. Alright, this is what we are actually looking for. Okay, so I don't think price has deviated much from where we were looking at, so you can possibly take shorts, right, at this level over here, stop loss above this high, TP at this level over here, right, possibly looking for a potential sales, right, at this area, okay, towards this 161.8% Fibo extension level. Okay. Yes, so the next thing is of course our second support level, which is this swing low support area over here. Alright, this is our second support. Okay, so this is essentially what we are looking at for euro dollar. Bearish arrow. Anything else that I missed out? Oh yes, okay. If you look at our projection, I am very sure this is the 100% Fibo projection. Yep. Okay. So this is what we are possibly looking at for this is what we are possibly looking at for euro dollar. Okay, it's either you continue to sell towards this first support, or you can take a risky buy, right, at this area over here. So if you are taking buys, right, you can possibly take a buy position over here, stop loss placed below this area, TP back at this first resistance level, which is a pullback resistance level. Okay, this is a pretty risky trade, but because we have Fibo confluence here, firstly we have the 100% Fibo projection, secondly we have the 161.8% Fibo extension level. Okay, so these two add together equals to our Fibo confluence. Alright, so possibly looking for buy entries here as well. Okay, so it is a sell to a buy position. Okay, then the next thing is of course for GBP USD, right? So for GBP USD, we could also potentially look for continuous sell momentum, right? This is of course our, let me take a look. Okay, this is our first resistance. Okay, also a pullback resistance level, and secondly this is our let me see. Yeah, I think this is a rather valid resistance level over here. Oh, second resistance level. Okay, then of course our first support, right, will definitely be at this. I wouldn't put it right here because it's too close to our first resistance, but I will put it right over here. Okay, because the reason why I will place my first support here is because of the number of times price has reacted here. Okay, so firstly, it has reacted at least twice at this area, acting as a support. Price broke through, alright, but didn't respect it over here, but respected over here. So this is also a valid first support level at this area. Okay, then the next thing is of course our second support, right? This is also a valid second support area, okay, for GBP USD. Alright, so now let us mark out our Fibo levels. Okay, so firstly we definitely have the 100% Fibo projection over here. Give me a moment, let me see. Okay, we shall not use this because if we use this, it's a little bit misleading, right? It has quite a huge gap of, yeah, usually if it has a gap of about 20 pips, I wouldn't really use it. Okay, let's see. If we mark out our feeble retracement level all the way up to this high, let's take a look. Okay, so we definitely have the 50% feeble retracement level right at our first support area over here. Okay, so this is something that this is a level that you can look at for buys as well. Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay. Oops. Okay, so this is a level that we can look at. Alright. Possibly you can also look for a projection at this area over here. I would say on the H4 it looks way better. Alright, you can see how price is, if I do something like this, right, it has a nicer projection level towards the first support area. But of course on the daily it is just one single candle over here, right? So yeah, but anyways, this candle will be closing in about less than an hour's time. I mean, it has already closed and a new candle will form. So yes, we can possibly put this first and then see how it goes. Okay, so this is also what we are looking at for price to come down towards this first support area. Okay, and then afterwards you can take buys. Okay, so same thing, we are looking for sells to buys. Okay. Alright, so the next thing is okay, USD. Let me take a look. Which are some potential pairs? Okay, USD CAD is also a potential pair that we can look at because we have USD CAD news later on. Alright. So this is something that we can possibly look at. Alright. Okay, I would say this area is a perfect level. Yeah, this area over here is a rather perfect level for USD CAD sales. Okay. Potentially you can see price is still below the Ichimoku cloud. Alright, so we don't have to worry too much. If price is above the Ichimoku cloud and we want to take sales, right? Imagine yeah, okay, then that is a little bit risky. But Ichimoku cloud shows us the overall momentum and it's possibly also showing potential bearish movement. Okay, so this is what we can possibly look at for USD CAD. Alright, and if we mark out our feeble retracement level, let me see, it should be at least 61.8%, slightly above. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, then we can mark this out. Okay, same thing. If it's less than 20 pips, we can still use it. Okay, yeah, less than 20 pips, so it is still fine. Alright. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, our first resistance level shall be at this high over here. Okay, so we can use this. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, so our second support, alright, we shall place it over here. Okay, based off how many times price has based off how many times price has tapped this area. Okay, give me a moment, let me just adjust this. First support. Okay. Okay. Alright, so right here, I am sure we don't have a feeble extension. Yeah, price has already broken through the 161.8% feeble extension level. Alright. Okay, so these are the areas that we can potentially look at. Okay, personally, I don't really like this area. Alright, let me take a look. Yeah, I think we shall just stick to this area over here. Okay, so I think this is fine. Yeah, first resistance is a little bit high, right? Initially I wanted to use this as my first resistance level, but it doesn't really make sense because it doesn't align with any Fibo retracement level, and also it doesn't have any potential fair value gap, etc. Alright, so if it happens like this, right, then I shall use the extreme high as our first resistance level. Okay, makes sense? Alright, yeah, so essentially I am looking for cells at this area over here. Same thing, right? Looking for cells at this specific level. Alright, and let's see, because the momentum is still bearish, right? Overall momentum. Okay, yeah. Alright, so moving on to our next thing. Okay, USD JPY. Okay, so for USD JPY, we can potentially, if you look at the Ichimoku cloud, right, price has broken the highs over here. Okay, so and we are looking at potential bullish momentum because of the bullish Ichimoku cloud. Okay, so let's take a look at where we can potentially look for buys. Alright, so this is our first support level. Alright, and the second thing is, of course, this area over here is our second support. Okay, first support is a pullback support level, very normal. After price broke past these highs, there is always a pullback. Alright, second support level is a swing low support level over here. Alright, so if you were to mark out your Fibo retracement levels, and let's take a look, right? We have the 38.2% Fibo retracement level. Alright, and this area over here, you can see how price has already rejected this area. Not too late to enter buys, I would say. Okay, but of course, let's take a look later on at how the market opens. Alright, so if we mark out our projection, alright, and look to the left, okay, look to the left, we can see this is potentially a first resistance level. Okay, because of how price has reacted. Okay, this was a resistance, price broke through, acted as a support, right, broke through. Alright, so now it has potential to act as a resistance. Alright, so let's place here, should be at the 61.8% Fibo projection. Let me see. Okay, 61.8% Fibo projection level. Alright, so this is our first resistance level. Okay, and the next thing is okay, wait, let me see. Okay, this shall be our second resistance. Okay, first obstacle is for price to break past this first resistance, then we shall talk about the second resistance. Okay, so what we want to see is for price to continue to be bullish. Alright, since it has rejected this pullback support, alright, be bullish. Alright, not too late to enter buys, I would say. Okay, okay, stop loss placed below this area. Alright, if you look at the H4, alright, this is a valid area to look at. Okay, and ultimately this is your final target. But of course, I wouldn't really target all the way up here. My first obstacle is this area, 1:1.6 risk to reward ratio. Then once price breaks past this high, I will slowly angle in and extend my take profit target. Okay, So this is what we are looking at. All in all, you should have about at least 1:1.5 risk to reward ratio. Maximum, I would say 1:3 risk to reward ratio. Then you can fully close your whole trade. Alright. Okay, any questions so far? I'll give you guys maybe about 1 to 2 more minutes to process these few pairs that I have gone through, right? Euro dollar, pound dollar, USD CAD, USD JPY. Okay, so these are the few things that I am looking at right now. Oh, and of course also AUD USD. Alright, so yeah, shall give you guys maybe like 1 to 2 more minutes. Okay, so far so good, right? I can see that nobody really has any questions, so that is fine, meaning that you guys are able to process the trade setups. Okay, so the next one that we are looking at is NZD USD. Okay, so let's take a look at NZD USD. Alright, so firstly, for NZD USD, right, this is the first resistance that, oh no, price is rejecting this area. Okay, let's start off with the first support, which is this key level over here. Let me see, yeah, this pullback support level. Okay, so this is our first support. Alright, then of course let me see. Okay, so the next thing is our second support is at this swing low support level over here. Alright, so this is something that we are currently looking at. Alright, and our first resistance, right, will be at this swing high resistance level over here, and then our final second resistance will be at this okay, this level over here, this overlap resistance level. Okay, so this is anything else, stay out of it, right? Okay, so the reason why I would choose these levels is firstly, looking at my first support, right? If you mark out your Fibo retracement level and you mark out all Fibs, you can see that it aligns with the 61.8% Fibo retracement over here. Okay, so this is potentially one way to look at it. Alright, and it is also a pullback support. Okay, and the next thing is, of course, if I were to mark out my projection level. Okay, if I were to mark out my projection, and then let me just take a look. Right, we have the 100% 100% Fibo projection level right smack at my first support. Okay, so with these two things together, right, firstly we have the 100% Fibo projection level, and secondly we have the 61.8% Fibo retracement level. So these two together acts as a Fibo confluence level for us to take buy positions. Okay, so this is something that I am looking at for price to have a bounce over here. Alright, so let's patiently wait for price to fall. Our first obstacle, right, is of course for price to break past this level over here. Okay, Okay, so once price breaks past this area, so once it does something like this, okay, oh, alright, then you can start to look patiently for buy entries. Okay, I would say you can possibly look at it in a way to put a buy limit. Alright, that is one way to look at it. Alright, yeah, so you can see right here, if I were to turn on the Ichimoku cloud indicator, right, once price breaks past this level over here, right, it is still creating potential bullish movement, right, bullish momentum. Alright, so you can possibly look for buy entries over here. Alright, yeah, so this is essentially what I am looking at for NZD USD. Okay, pretty simple, nothing too complicated. Okay, so yeah, we have completed all the majors. Let's move on to gold. Okay, so right now I would say gold is already at a very beautiful all-time high. Alright, it has been going past all these levels. Alright, yeah, okay, so for now I would say to stay out of gold, but these are some levels that I am looking at, right? Let me do it on the, let me see. Okay, this is a overlap support level because price has already rejected this area. Alright, potentially this is an area that I am looking at. Let me see, 127. Okay, so 127 has already been tapped, so we shall not use it, but we shall use the 161.8% feeble retracement level. Okay, so essentially this is my first resistance level. Okay, and of course the next thing is also this area over here, which is the 161.8% feeble extension level. Alright, this is my second resistance. Alright, so there is a possibility that price might continue to go up all the way to this second resistance level over here before it starts to show some form of rejection. Alright, okay, so as for my second support, right, I would say my second support, yeah, I shall put it a little bit closer, right. My second support can be here, right. If you go to H4, my second support is essentially just a swing low support. Alright, but if you look at daily, okay, right, daily makes more sense. Let me see, yeah, okay, so this is my second support level. Alright, yeah, okay, so if let's say price rejects this resistance, let me just mark out all these levels over here. Okay, clearly we have the 61.23 and 61. Okay, these two areas that we are looking at. Okay, price has already rejected the 23.6% feeble retracement level, which is at our first support area. Okay, but we have yet to see price reject our second support area. Okay, yeah, so basically it is just a very straightforward bullish momentum trade. Alright, you probably only see rejection at this area, or if you were to take buy sell, just these two possibilities. Okay, nothing in between here. Okay, just take note of that. Yeah, so direction wise I would say it might come towards this level over here, create a breakout towards the upside. Okay, it might do something like this. Okay, so yeah, for now our gold is not looking the best, right? So we shall just stay out of it for now. Okay, let me see. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Silver should be the same, right? Silver is also okay, silver has no, wow. I remember seeing one of the news and it said that when from December 2025 to at least the first quarter of 2026, right? First quarter meaning January to March, right? Silver will at least reach the 100 mark, okay? And that person is right. It is one of the investment analyst, right? Is you can basically see him on like different websites like investing.com, all the very huge like Bloomberg, etc., right? All these huge investing news website, okay? And he said that at the at when price was about 40 bucks, right, for silver, okay? So it is good to monitor all these news, right, I would say, okay, and see what the big people are speculating about. Alright, then you can have some form of insights as well. Okay, so for now I would say stay out of silver and gold because it is rather just one straight road, right? If you were in it early, that's good, but if you are trying to get in early to reach the top, I would say not recommended. Alright, it is not recommended in a way that imagine if you enter somewhere here, okay, let's say enter somewhere here, your stop loss will be probably here, but your TP, you have no idea where your TP might be, okay? You can take reference from here as a projection. I would let me see. Yeah, you have no area to take reference from, okay? So you have nowhere to put your TP at, okay? And your stop loss might also be pretty huge, right? Yeah, it's right about here. Your entry, imagine you enter off this area, right? Your stop loss right about here. You need at least 1:1, which is this high, which is at the 100 mark, okay, or even more, okay? So that is why I would say stay out of the commodities for now. Okay, so let's move on to the indices. Alright, so looking at the indices, okay, firstly let's start off with US 30. Okay, so price is at this area right now, 49,367, which is roughly about here, okay, roughly about here. Alright, so my first support will definitely be this area over here, which is a overlap support level, okay. And the second thing is my second support is at this area over here, which is a multi-swing low support level, okay. Alright, so right now price is trading within this area, okay. You can see how price is consolidating, alright. And the reason why it is consolidating, because it is possibly waiting for the President Trump speaking, right? Then you can possibly see either a break towards the downside, okay, that is one possibility, alright, or a break towards the upside, something like that, okay. So just these two possibilities that you might want to look at, alright, because in when price is consolidating, alright, it will usually do something like this, alright. It will suddenly do this and either break out, okay, or continue to consolidate. And if you look at the market structure, right, very bullish market structure, creating all-time highs, Alright, this is already a all-time high for US30, right at this high over here, at this high. Okay, that's why we have a consolidation. Usually if we have something like this, right, this is called a rally. Alright, consolidation and then rally again, something like that. Okay. Alright, let me see. Okay, so for now, the only option is for you guys to either enter here or wait for the breakout and retest. Okay, that is what I can say. Yeah, so right now this is my first resistance level. Oops. Okay, and if I were to mark out my projection, meaning that from here to here, alright, I will say let's use the 61.8% as my second resistance level, because I don't really have any other second resistance levels to look at. Alright, so this is something that we could possibly look at. Okay, yeah, so it's either you can trade the consolidation zone or you can trade the break, retest, and this is the area that you are looking at for the buys. Okay, just these two areas. Okay, since we have a couple more minutes, let's okay, GE40, same thing. I would say it's taking a little bit too long for price to come down, right? Very bullish momentum, so I would say stay out of it right for now. Okay, so and as for S&P 500, okay, let me do a little bit of a analysis for this. Right now price is at 6941, all right, which is at around this level over here, 69 yeah, somewhere here, 6941. Okay, so for S&P 500, right, same thing, it is at a all-time high. It actually reached almost 7,000, right, a very psychological number, right, and then it started to show some form of resistance. Okay, so we shall mark this out as my first resistance area over here. We shall take the all-time high. Okay, not too far from the body of the candle. Okay, we shall take the body. Okay, so our first support that we can look at is of course this level over here. Okay, and the reason why I would choose this instead of this first support level is pretty weak, right? Because it is just a minor support level, right? Possibly breaking this area, but I can take this as my first support level. Okay, because this was what was the reason that it created this push over here. Okay, so I'll take this as my first support. Okay, then the next thing is of course this other area is my second support area. Okay, so yeah, anything else don't enter, right? I would say okay, close to the 78.6% Fibo retracement level, so I shall mark this area out. Okay, yeah, so looking at how price is right now, there is still a potential for price to continue upwards based off its projection. Okay, so you can definitely see that there is a let me just adjust this a little bit. Okay, based off the projection from this low to this high and then back to this low, alright, there is a 61.8 projection at this first resistance level over here. Okay, so price could potentially continue to do something like this, like that, and come here, and then you can see whether price will reject this area or cause a breakout towards the upside. Okay, if it causes a breakout towards the upside, then we can take a look at the 100% Fibo projection. Okay, which is this area over here. Okay, yeah, only these levels that we can look at. Okay, so you can trade the breakout, or you can wait for price to come down and then you can enter off this level. Same thing, right? So yeah. Okay, so only two areas. One is this 78.6% Fibo retracement level, or you can trade the breakout. Okay, something like this. You can trade the breakout over here, alright, to come towards this level. Alright, just these two possibilities that we can look at. Okay, yeah, that's the okay, we shall not use US tech because US tech is a little bit too messy right now. Not much direction, I would say. So we can stay out of it. Alright. How about let's do crypto. Okay, crypto seems a little bit fun, right? Price has been improving, I would say, since December. Okay, December it has been like very rocky, I would say, especially this period over here. It is just a pain to watch, right? From this period, okay, let me show you guys, from 20th December all the way until the end of December, it has been consolidating all the way until we saw a breakout on the start of the year. Okay, so putting that in place, right, we can definitely see Bitcoin improving. Okay, and we can place this as our first support. Alright, this is our overlap support level. Alright, because price has already rejected this area. Alright, so we can place this as our first support area. Alright, second support, I would say we can take this level. This is a very common level. What is this? Okay, we can use this as our second support level. Alright, for Bitcoin, I wouldn't place it too far from each other, meaning my horizontal levels. Okay, and then we can see right here, first support should align with the 38, yeah, 38.2. Still possibly able to use this, I would say. So we are definitely looking for price to continue upwards. Alright, Ichimoku cloud, don't have to say, right, it is still bearish, but you can see right here creating bullish momentum. Okay, and then for okay, so this level is my yeah, okay, so this is my pullback resistance level. Alright, so I shall place this as my first resistance area over here. Second resistance area shall be at this level, which is a overlap resistance level over here. Okay, so let's see how price will continue to improve from this point onwards. Let's see. Yeah, beautiful. We have the 61.8% Fibo projection here. Okay, so if you are looking for buys, I would say long position, you can continue placing your buys over here. Stop loss placed below this area. TP at this level over here. Try to get at least 1:2 risk to reward ratio. Alright, apart from that, your final target is, of course, yeah, just target this 1:2 first, right? At the 100,000 mark, or maybe 99 before the 100,000 mark, right? It is a psychological number, right? You can see whether price will continue to break above or reject, right? Most likely it will reject. right? But that's why that is our initial target. Okay, so that is what I would say for BTC USD. Okay, very beautiful. Okay, yeah, so that is all for all the trade setups for this coming week ahead. So let's see, because we have quite a few news that is coming up this week, so please be careful with the trades that you are taking, especially the ones that I have mentioned right over here. Okay, especially Friday, right? Please be careful on Friday, right? Apart from that, yeah, Wednesday as well. Okay, President Trump speaking, very important. Okay, so that is all from me to you guys, right? Thank you for joining into today's pre-market live analysis, and I shall see you guys again in the next session. Alright, so take care, and remember to always stay safe and trade safe. Okay, I shall see you guys in the next video. Okay, take care and bye bye.